once again remind you that as you go about your days, as you move through your world, as you walk in your life, call on the guardians to help you to clear away that which you're releasing. As we spoke about last week or the week before, we don't remember, that you are tempted. The temptation is to release but hang on to at the same time. You get good at releasing, but you don't necessarily have skill at laying it down, leaving it behind. You're getting it out of your body, but you're not getting it out of your fields in all cases. There is that sense of, it served me for so long, I should hang on to it. Kind of like your junk drawer in your house, right? Those mismatched socks that for some reason you just can't bear to part with. There is an energy that says, I might need this someday. And on an energetic level, on a stuff level, it's, whatever. But on an energetic level, it's debilitating. It really is. Because in order to carry around that energetic, you have to also carry around the vibration of that energetic. And if the vibration of that energetic literally oscillates at a lower rate than you are trying to function at, then it sets up an interference pattern. And it doesn't serve you to raise your vibration. It doesn't serve you to help become more conscious. So the conscious act is to lay it down. In the past, we've talked about release, but we'd like to now shift that to lay it down. What am I willing to lay down and walk away from? What am I willing to actually completely abandon? What am I willing to actually and completely let go of? What am I willing to lay down? I will lay it down and I will leave it. And again, don't fall for the trap of thinking that means you're littering energetically or anything silly like that. We're talking about you cleaning your energetic field, and you are going to lay it down and leave it behind. And the question is, can you actually lay it down and leave it behind? Because what tends to happen is that you guys decide to release something, release a pattern, release a habit, release an energetic, even release a memory, and then it comes back and it runs through you a little bit before you catch it. We imagine there are things in your life that you're really ready to be done with, and we ask you to say to yourself, I am ready to lay it down and to walk away. It is not enough anymore to say, I just want to release this. We're going to change the language. Can I lay it down and walk away? And it's a good question to ask yourself. Because if you never ever again access that memory, if you never ever again did that habit, if you never ever again ate that food, for instance, do you think you could actually be comfortable with that? And what we suspect you'll find is that some of these things want to hang on. And you think they're gone, you think you've let them go, you think you've released them, you think you've dropped them, but they're just sort of in your wake. They're caught up in you, and they follow you around. And you guys have actually an extraordinary amount of this stuff in your fields. And it's absolutely and completely time to make the commitment to lay it down and walk away from it. This can be dependencies, codependencies. This can be addictions, addictions to people, addictions to energy, addictions to things. The idea that I don't need this in my life, it has served me, it has shown me, it has taught me, and I'm ready to move into something else to learn from. And I'm willing to lay it down and walk away from it. I'm willing to lay it down and walk away from it. And just you wonder if that brings up your abandonment issues. Because you're abandoning something that's been part of you. Doesn't matter if this thing has served you or not, if it's helped you or not, if it's even been positive or not. It'll bring up some of your abandonment issues to leave it, to lay it down and walk away. And when you get that feeling of, wow, I feel like I'm abandoning it, you can say, what is it about this thing that's still got its hooks in me? What is it about it that's still got a hold of me? What is it that I think somehow I owe to it or that I'm obligated to it? Because sometimes these bad habits have become like friends to you. You become sort of friendly with each other. And as your friendship has grown, it's become not a very positive friendship, but it's still a friendship nonetheless. So the invitation again and again and again and again comes to evaluate. And it may be friendships you need to lay it down and walk away from. And you may feel very uncomfortable about that. But if the truth is that it does not serve you, if the truth is that it's not helping you grow, if the truth is it's not revealing the highest version of you, if the truth is it's not helping you see the next version of you that you wish to experience, it may be time to lay it down and walk away from it. And if you feel abandoned by making those choices, then that's something you really need to look at. Am I a victim of my choices? Do I feel victimized by the choices I'm making? Now, we're not necessarily giving you answers to these questions tonight, but we're offering them for your contemplation. Because what we see right now, when we look at each of you, we see this kind of cloud of dust, let's call it. Mostly centered around the lower chakras and down toward your feet. And everyone's sitting in this little cloud of dust. And the cloud of dust is all of these things that you've released but not laid down. These situations with family members, these relationships to money, health issues even. You know, wow, I got a lot of attention when I wasn't feeling good. I'd rather feel good, but I don't want to give up that attention maybe. So I'll keep that in reserve, right over here. That I always know I can sort of feel bad if I need attention. Yeah. Maybe it's time to lay that down and walk away from it. All that we've done recently is help you to refine your vibration in order to facilitate transformation, facilitate ascension, facilitate balance, facilitate moving into the Homo Spiritus state, facilitate you living from your soul's perspective. The soul does not know lack. Last week we talked about how to love yourself from the soul's perspective. This week we want to talk about lack from the soul's perspective, or the absence of lack. You see, parts of you feel like you have to accumulate this stuff or hang on to it, just like that stuff in the junk drawer you have. You think, oh, someday I'm going to need those twist ties. Guaranteed. I'm going to need every single one of the 378,000 that are in there. I can't even shut the drawer. But I know one of these days I'm going to need a twist tie and it's going to be right there. Plus, you can't really throw that stuff away. That'd be wasteful, right? You know. We're not surprising anybody with that one. We could have a twist tie comparison night where you could all bring your twist ties. We might actually ask you to do that, is to bring, that thing that you keep a lot of. What is yours? Which one is yours? Is it rubber bands? Is it twist ties? Is it bottle caps? Is it plastic grocery bags? Which one is it? You've got one, we know it. For a while there, Veronica, for some unknown reason, was keeping all the tags off the clothes she would buy. And it's like, you're not taking it back because you took the tag off and you wore it. Why do you still have the tag? She's like, well, but are these plastic things recyclable and the paper? What? And she would just not want to think about it, basically. You see? I don't want to think about it. I'll just keep it around. I might need it for something. Perfect example of this dust cloud we see you in. Lay it down and walk away from it. Because the soul doesn't know what lack is, period. So the parts of you that are experiencing lack cannot operate from your soul's perspective. We can't say it any more plainly than that. If you find yourself in lack, then you know that's a place that your soul's perspective has yet to reach. Most of lack is established around the idea that you're going to get dead if you don't accumulate. You're going to lose out if you don't accumulate. You're going to be, have a harder life if you don't accumulate. We agree that there's a certain level of abundance, resources, etc. that seem to help out in having opportunity to move through the world in a human form. 375,000 twist ties in the junk drawer is not one of those things. But the energy associated with all of those twist ties is part of this dust cloud we're talking about. It's sort of a humorous example, but it shows you in physical form how this works. Imagine if every time you changed or released a relationship with someone in your life and you chose to let it out of your body, it had a physical form and you stuck it in the junk drawer just in case. Just like when you get those twist ties off the bread, you think, oh, just in case, I'll keep it around. After about 10, you're just hoarding, right? Unless you're John's wife with the Cub Scouts and you've got something coming up where you're going to twist tie a fence or something. After about 10 or so, you're hoarding. Hoarding on an energetic level, when we're talking about this dust cloud, when we're talking about releasing rather than laying it down, hoarding clouds your energy field. You're not a lean, mean, moving machine when you've got a bunch of stuff having to hang off of you. And all of those places are difficult for your soul's perspective to access because it's absolutely foreign. Now, you remember when each of the council members first came in and started working with you guys through Veronica, they were like, oh, we don't know what's going on, right? They were all clueless, including ourselves. Imagine your soul's perspective being very similar to that. It comes in, it starts to access your body, it starts to work with you just like we're working with you now. It doesn't understand why all of a sudden there's all these places in your body where it literally cannot conceive of what is going on when you're experiencing that kind of lack, that kind of hoarding, that kind of protectiveness, that kind of fear of somehow losing. So let's, as a little exercise, we won't ask you to bring them in, but as a little exercise, we're really inviting you through your life, through your house, through your car, to examine the places where you haven't laid it down and walked away, but you've released it and somehow kept it in your field. You've released it and kept it in your field. And why? Why, when you released it, did you keep it in your field? And is it lack? Is it fear of waste? Is it fear of I won't have it if I need it, and I won't be able to get it if I need it? What is it that comes up for you when you look at the places in your life where instead of letting something completely go, you've moved it to the side and kept it there?